Hi students, today is Monday, March 30th, 2020, and it is Ms. Bauer's Read Aloud number 6. Today I am going to read you a story called Dr. DeSoto by William Steig, and the publisher once again is Scholastic. This is a story by William Steig, who is also the author of the story called Shrek, which was a book before it became a movie. And Sylvester and the Magic Pebble is another very famous book that he wrote. He wrote many, many famous books. So let's take a peek at the genre. What do you predict the genre is going to be? I predict the genre is going to be, and this story is fiction, and it's a fantasy. The reason it's a fantasy is because the main characters are animals, and Dr. DeSoto himself is a mouse, and he's a dentist, and we know that's just impossible. So it's fantasy. Dr. DeSoto. This also won a Newbery Award. Dr. DeSoto. This is one of my favorite illustrations. Dr. DeSoto, the dentist, did very good work, so he had no end of patients. Those close to his own size, moles, chipmunks, etc., sat in the regular dentist chair. Larger animals sat on the floor, while Dr. DeSoto stood on a ladder. For extra large animals, he had a special room. There, Dr. DeSoto was hoisted up to the patient's mouth by his assistant, who also happened to be his wife. And this character looks very much, to me, like Sylvester in Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. I think that William Steig also does his own illustrations. Dr. DeSoto was especially popular with the big animals. He was able to work inside their mouths, wearing rubbers to keep his feet dry, and his fingers were so delicate and his drills so dainty they could hardly feel any pain. Being a mouse, he refused to treat animals dangerous to mice, and it said on his sign, when the doorbell rang, he and his wife would look out the window. They wouldn't admit even the most timid-looking cat. Dr. DeSoto, dentist. Cats and other dangerous animals not accepted for treatment. Here's where the story takes a little bit of a turn. One day, when they looked out, they saw a well-dressed fox with a flannel bandage around his jaw. "I cannot treat you, sir," Dr. DeSoto shouted. "Sir, haven't you read my sign?" "Please," the fox wailed, "have mercy. I'm suffering." And he wept so bitterly, it was pitiful to see. "Let's risk it," said Mrs. I'm going to read up here first. "Just a moment," said Dr. DeSoto. "That poor fox," he whispered to his wife. "What shall we do?" "Let's risk it," said Mrs. DeSoto. She pressed the buzzer and let the fox in. He was up the stairs in a flash. "Bless your little hearts," he cried, falling to his knees. "I beg you, do something. My tooth is killing me." "Sit on the floor, sir," said Dr. DeSoto, "and remove the bandage, please." Dr. DeSoto climbed up the ladder and bravely entered the fox's mouth. "Ooh, wow," he gasped. The fox had a rotten bicuspid and unusually bad breath. This tooth will have to come out, Dr. DeSoto announced. But we can make you a new one. Just stop the pain, whimpered the fox, wiping some tears away. Despite his misery, he had realized he had a tasty little morsel in his mouth, and his jaw began to quiver. Keep open, yelled Dr. DeSoto. Wide open, yelled his wife. I'm giving you gas now, said Dr. DeSoto. You won't feel a thing when I yank that tooth. Soon the fox was in dreamland. Yummy, he mumbled. How I love them raw, with just a pinch of salt and a dry white wine. They could guess what he was dreaming about. Mrs. DeSoto handed her husband a pole to keep the fox's mouth open. Dr. DeSoto fastened his extractor to the bad tooth. Then he and his wife began turning the winch. Finally, with a sucking sound, the tooth popped out and hung swaying in the air. I'm bleeding, the fox yelped when he came to. Dr. DeSoto ran up the ladder and stuffed some gauze in the hole. The worst is over, he said. I'll have your new tooth ready tomorrow. Be here at 11 sharp. The fox, still woozy, said goodbye and left. On his way home, he wondered if it would be shabby of him to eat the DeSotos when the job was done. After office hours, Mrs. DeSoto molded a tooth of pure gold and polished it. Raw with salt indeed, muttered Dr. DeSoto. How foolish to trust a fox. He didn't know what he was saying, said Mrs. DeSoto. Why should he harm us? We're helping him. Because he's a fox, said Dr. DeSoto. They're wicked, wicked creatures. That night the DeSotos lay awake worrying. Should we let him in tomorrow? Mrs. DeSoto wondered. Once I start a job, said the dentist, I finish it. My father was the same way. But we must do something to protect ourselves, said his wife. They talked and talked until they formed a plan. I think it'll work, said Dr. DeSoto. A minute later, he was snoring. The author, William Steig, has not given us a clue what they're planning to do. The reader is in suspense. The next morning, promptly at 11, a very cheerful fox turned up. He was feeling not a particle of pain. When Dr. DeSoto got into his mouth, he snapped it shut for a moment, then opened wide and laughed. Just a joke, he chortled. Be serious, said the dentist sharply. We have work to do. His wife was lugging the heavy tooth up the ladder. Oh, I love it, exclaimed the fox. It is just beautiful. Dr. DeSoto set the gold tooth in its socket and hooked it up to the teeth on both sides. The fox caressed the new tooth with his tongue. My, it feels good, he thought. I really shouldn't eat them. On the other hand, how can I resist? We're not finished, said Dr. DeSoto, holding up a large jug. I have here a remarkable preparation developed only recently by my wife and me. With just one application, you can be rid of toothaches forever. How would you like to be the first one to receive this unique treatment? I certainly would, the fox declared. I'd be honored. He hated any kind of personal pain. You will never have to see us again, said Dr. DeSoto. No one will see you again, said the fox to himself. He had definitely made up his mind to eat them, with the help of his brand new tooth. Dr. DeSoto stepped into the fox's mouth with a bucket of the secret formula and proceeded to paint each tooth. He hummed as he worked. Mrs. DeSoto stood by the ladder, pointing out spots he had missed. The fox looked very happy. When the dentist was done, he stepped out. "Now close your jaws tight," he said, "and keep them closed for a full minute." The fox did as he was told. Then he tried to open his mouth, but his teeth were stuck together. Excuse me, I should have mentioned," said Dr. DeSoto. "You won't be able to open your mouth for a day or two. The secret formula must permeate the dentine. But don't worry, no pain ever again." The fox was stunned. He stared at Dr. DeSoto, then at his wife. They smiled and waited. All he could do was say through his clenched teeth and get up and leave. He tried to do so with dignity. Then he stumbled down the stairs in a daze. Dr. DeSoto and his assistant had outfoxed the fox. They kissed each other and took the rest of the day off. And that's the end of our story about Dr. DeSoto. So don't forget, in case you are a kinder or first grade student, you should consider retelling this to a grown-up. You could draw a picture about the story and perhaps write a few sentences using inventive spelling and any kind of words that you know. If you're a second or third grade student, you could write a paragraph for your reading log about this story. You could say in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, and tell us what happened. If you're a fourth or fifth grade student, you could actually write a 3-paragraph summary. And you could use text evidence. If you wrote a 3-paragraph summary, you could use also that first, next, last format. Okay, kids, I'm going to sign off for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. We miss you, and I will be at drive-thru on Friday if anybody wants to go and say hello and pick their lunch up, and have a good weekend that day. Okay, see you tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Bye.